Our topic is identification and types of building. Identification and types of building. What is a building? A building is a structure that is arranged with its different parts, such as foundation, roof, doors, windows, and walls to form a residential house or church, mosque, factory, and office. So when we talk of a building, we are talking of a structure that has different parts. A structure that has different parts, like foundation. Of course, a building, to erect a building, you start with the foundation. Foundation are dug inside the soil. It must have a building, must have a structure that has a foundation, that has a roof, that has doors, that have windows, that has walls. You can call it a building, and people live in your house where you are sitting right now. It's a building, it's a residential building. A church, you go to church. The church where you sit down to worship God is a building. The mosques, the factory, an office, even our schools, even the shopping malls where you go to buy your things, they are all called what? Building. So even our school, some buildings in the school environment are used differently, such as classroom. In our schools, you can see different buildings in our schools. You can see grade 1, you can see grade 1 and 2 down there. You can see the other classes up there. You can see Big Mommy's house. You can see secretary's office and the mistress office. They are all parts of building. You can see our canteen. They are all buildings. Now we have types of buildings. We have the bungalow. We have the bungalow. We want to look at types of building. The first type of building we have is the bungalow. So a bungalow is a building. It does not have more than one level of floor. A bungalow. Bungalows are the commonest building types. You see when you look around, you see many bungalows. It exists everywhere. Buildings, bungalows are the commonest type of building. They exist everywhere. Almost all building materials can be used in constructing bungalows. A building is called a bungalow because it does not have more than one level of floor. Also, what does it mean? It means that a building does not have stairs that leads from one level to another. For instance, all the buildings in our schools are all what? Bungalow, because there is no staircase to lead you to the next floor. There is no next floor. Everything ends in the level, floor level. So it is called a building. Another type of building is the duplex. A duplex is a building that has 2 floor levels. A duplex is a building that has 2 floor levels. The one on the floor, and then there is a staircase that will lead you to the next level, the next floor level. Most of our duplexes has staircase in the sitting room where you can ascend, where you can climb to get to the next floor. So we also have story building. We have story building. A story building is a building with more than 1 floor or more than 1 level. So the number of stories depends on the number of floors. We have story building. It can be 2-story building. It can be 3-story building. It can be 4-story buildings. And most of these story buildings, they can be in form of blocks of flats. You can say this is flat 1 and flat 2. You ascend the staircase, you see another flat 2, flat 3, flat 4, flat 5, flat 6. So this is a story building. So the next one is the skyscraper. The skyscraper. Skyscrapers are tall buildings with many stories. This is found in developed cities of the world. Of course, skyscrapers, when you go to developed countries like America, Canada, Germany, you see skyscrapers. Even in Lagos, there is also skyscrapers in Lagos. So how do we ascend skyscrapers? it is mainly accessible through what? Elevator. You cannot climb the staircase of a skyscraper because it can be 100-story buildings. So you have to press if you want to ascend to the 7th floor or 20th floor, you have to click on a button and then it will take you to the level you want. Those are what skyscrapers. Now we look at materials used for building. Materials used for building. What are the materials we use in building? There are so many materials we use in building. So many materials. We have blocks, we have wood, we have bricks, plastics, glasses, and so many. Cement. We have so many materials we use in building. So we look at the definition of a building. We say that it's a structure that is arranged with its different parts, such as foundation, roof, doors, windows, and walls to form a residential house, church, mosque, factory, and offices. And we also look at types of building. We say that types of building include bungalow, duplex, story buildings, skyscrapers. Another thing we looked at was materials used for building, and these are some of the materials we use in building houses. So you will answer this question in your textbook, in your exercise book, sorry. What is a building? Number 2, list 3 types of building, and lastly, give 3 materials used for building. So this is our civic education, and the topic is traffic regulations. We are looking at what? Traffic regulations. Meaning and needs. Traffic regulations, meaning and needs. So we want to look at what is traffic regulation. We want to explain what traffic rules are, traffic regulations, what they are. Then we shall look at the needs. Why do we have traffic rules? So let us define traffic regulations. Traffic regulations are the rules and laws made to control the movement of goods, people, vehicles, and motorcyclists on the road. Rules, laws made by government in order to control the movement of people, in order to control the movement of vehicles and motorcyclists on the road. If there is no law, if there is no traffic law, if there is no traffic law, everyone will drive as he or she wants. Pedestrians can cross the road as he or she wants. Pedestrians can just come out from the house, cross the road without looking left or right. A driver can decide to leave the lane he's supposed to drive and jump over to the next lane. Or motorcyclist can drive as reckless as he or she wants. But when there are rules, when there are laws, everyone will be careful, everyone will be mindful of how he or she make use of the road. So that is the meaning of what? Traffic regulations. Now let us look at the need. Why do we need traffic regulations? Why do we need laws? Number 1, to ensure smooth flow of vehicles. When there are laws guiding the use of road, when there are laws made to control the movement of people or motorcyclists or vehicles, there will be smooth flow of vehicles. Everybody will be careful of how he or she drives. All motorists will be careful because there are laws. You have to obey the laws. When you disobey the law, what happens? Traffic policemen does what? They arrest you. But when you drive carefully, when you obey the rules, when you obey the laws governing the road, you won't have any problem with traffic policemen. To prevent accidents on our roads, one of the reasons why laws are given, traffic laws are given, is to prevent accidents. When everyone is careful of how he or she make use of the road, there won't be accidents because everyone is careful. Another need is to check overspeed. Laws are made so that people will not overspeed and kill themselves. Another need is to protect lives and properties. When drivers are careful about the way they drive, of course you will see that people, they will not be destroying people's life will be protected. Another reason is to prevent loss of many hours which will result from traffic problem. If there is no regulation, traffic regulations. Everyone will be reckless in driving and thereby causing traffic hold up. A motorist may decide to stop in the middle of the road, calm down, go over to the next shop to buy this, thereby, and all the vehicles going behind him, we have to stop because he has already blocked the road, going to go and buy something. Or if there is traffic, you know that you're not supposed to stop in the middle of the road. They are, and when there are traffic jam, people will waste time. Instead of you going to school by 7:30 because someone blocked the road, you might stay on the road for 9 till 9. But when there are traffic laws, when there are traffic, nobody will dare stop in the middle of the road to buy something. Of course, hold up. Every vehicles will be flowing smoothly. So these are the reasons for traffic regulations. Now look at some road traffic signs. As you are going to school, as you are going to church, as you are traveling with your parents, you tend to see some of these road traffic signs. So when you see any of these road traffic signs, what does it tell you? What does it mean? So when you see this sign, it means, when you see this sign, it means caution. Maybe there is a pothole in front, and when the car sees this, it means that you should just apply the brake, just move slowly so that you not fall into that pothole. So this sign means caution. Slow down. Be careful. That is what this sign means. This one means danger. When you see this, and there is danger in front. Maybe they put an electric pole. Maybe an electric pole fell down in the middle of the road, and then they will carry this sign and put beside the electric pole, meaning that don't go near this thing. No, if you go there, you may be electrocuted. So this means danger. This one means no U-turn. No U-turn. As you are driving, I forgot my phone at home, but let me turn back and go back to the house and get my phone, and then you will already go to reverse the car. But when you see this sign, you will know that no U-turn. You should not turn around. You will continue moving. So this sign means no U-turn. That's what it means. Of course, if you see this, it means a hospital. Most of the hospitals have this in front of their gate. This is children crossing in front of our school. You will see this sign. It means you as a motorist, as you are coming and you see this sign, it means that children are crossing. Slow down and wait for the children to cross. So children crossing. This means zebra crossing. Whenever a driver sees this sign, you will know that this is a place where people cross and stop. Now, these are the commonest traffic signs on our road. When you see this, there are 3 colors. We have the red color, we have the amber color, and the green color. And each, there must be one blinking. So when the red color is blinking, it means what? Stop. As you are coming as a motorist, and you look at the traffic sign, and you see this red sign blinking, keep. It means what? You should want to stop. And then if the red sign stops blinking, and this amber sign is blinking, what it means? Get ready to move. Get ready. And then if you have already turned off your ignition, what you turn it on again. And then when the green light comes out, it means move. So we have looked at traffic regulations. The meaning. We also looked at the need for traffic regulations inside this, and we looked at some of the road traffic signs which we see along the road. Then you have to answer this question after talking the road. You answer this question in your road book. Define traffic regulations. Number 2, give 3 needs for traffic regulations. Number 3, list 5 road traffic signs. Next one, we have health education. We have health education, and our topic is sense organ. Our topic is what? Sense organs. So what does sense organ mean? Sense organs, they are specialized organs in the body which are sensitive to internal stimulus. What are these 5? We have 5 sense organs in our body. So that sense organs are specialized organs in our body. When you look at your body, there are some organs, there are some parts of your body that are very, very important. Without them, you cannot function well. We use them for various activities. So there are 5. There are 5 sense organ is the eye. We all have eyes. How many eyes? 2 eyes. These are our eyes. So what do we use the eyes for? The eyes is sensitive to light. The eyes is one of the most delicate and sensitive parts of the body. It is used for seeing things. Without the eyes, you cannot see. Without the eyes, you cannot see. They are stimulated by light. If light shines across your eyes, your light is quickened. So our light is a type of camera and takes photographs of objects. The eye is what? Is a camera. Just as your phone has a camera, our eyes is a camera. With our eyes we see different things. We watch television. With our eyes we surf internet. We play with our phone. With our eyes we go to eyes, we go to market. Even with your eyes you read. You read to book, you read your books. The eyes is very important. So another sense organ is the nose. Look at the eye. The next one is the nose. Everyone touch this. These are our nose, and our nose is stimulated by smell. What do we use our nose for? For perceiving smell, both good and bad. Our nose is very important, and the nose has two openings called nose twists. When you go to the mirror, you look at your nose, you will see two openings in your nose. They are called what? Nose twists. So with the help of our nose, we can differentiate between good and bad smell. When somebody is cooking delicious fried rice or farm, and when you perceive that this rice is going to be tasteful, this rice is going to be very sweet because you have already perceived the smell. I know that it's going to be good. So the next one is the ears. Our next sense organ is our ears. What do we use our ears for? For hearing, of course. Our ears are used for hearing. The ear is one of the sensitive organs of the body. They are 2 in numbers and they are attached to either side of the head. Our ears are attached to either side of our ears for hearing. Another sense organ is our skin. Our skin. What do we use our skin for? To touch. Of course, with your hand, you can touch things. It responds to feeling, both good and bad. If someone pinches you, if your friend in the class pinches you, you do what? You tag. Your skin is sensitive, have responded to that hurtful feeling. Or you pop on your body during Hamatan. What do you say? How is this weather is so cold? What is happening? As you are checking, the feeling is cold. It means that your skin is responding to the feeling of what? Cold. So what are the functions of the skin? The skin protects our internal organs. It is this skin that protects our internal organs, our bones, skeletons, the veins, the blood in our body. It is the skin. So if you can imagine if you don't have skin covering your body, what will people be seeing? They will be seeing your skeleton. But because it is our skin that covers our skeleton, it regulates body temperature. As we are sweating during heat period, as we are sweating, the skin, the sweat that is coming out from our body is coming out on top of the skin, and you are wiping it away. And then the skin also manufactures vitamin D when it is exposed to sunlight. When you expose your body to the sunlight, especially the sunlight that shines between 9 and 10, it is very good to the skin. The skin will manufacture vitamin C from the sunlight. Another sense organ is the tongue. What do we use our tongue for? This is a taste organ, sensitive to taste. The moment after people say, come and taste this food and see whether it is sweet. What do you use in tasting? You use your tongue. How do you know that the sweet is sweet? Because you have already tasted it with your tongue. So we have looked at sense organ, and so that they are specialized organs in the body which are sensitive to external stimulus. And we said that we have 5 sense organs. So we have the eye, the nose, the ears, the skin, and the tongue. So you copy the notes and then you answer these questions in exercise. What is sense organ? There are 5 sense organs in the body. Name 3. The next one is agriculture. and our topic is maintenance and care of farm tools. Maintenance and care of our farm tools. So, if you can recall, last week we did farm tools and we did farm tools, and we said we have two types of farm tools. That we have crop farm tools and animal farm tools. Crop farm tools and animal farm tools. And we said that crop farm tools are those farm tools we use in our farms. And look at examples of the crop farm tools. Hoe, cutlass, rake, spade, trowel, digging fork, wheelbarrow, tape, file, basket, hay fork, wood digger, crowbar, digger, shears, buckets, axe, watering can, mattock. These are the different crop farm tools we looked at last week. And we looked at their various functions, what they are used for. We also looked at animal farm tools. That was last week. And we said that animal farm tools are those farm tools that we use in rearing animals. And we gave some examples. For instance, fishing net. If you want to go to fishing, to go and fish in the river, do you go with a cutlass or with the what will you use them for? You go with your fishing net. We also looked at trough. We looked at different types of animal farm tools. Troughs are what we use in feeding our chickens in our poultry farm. We looked at different types of what? Animal farm tools. That was what we did last week. So today we are moving on, going further, to look at how to maintain those farm tools, the animal farm tools and crop farm tools. Do you just come back from the farm and you carry your cutlass, your hoe, your tape, your rake, your wheelbarrow, you dump them one side at the back of your house? The next day when you want to go to farm, you go there, you pack them again. This is not how we do. So, for our farm tools to last long, we have to do what? Maintain and care for them. Not only our farm tools, everything that we have to maintain them. We have to take care of them. When you lack the maintenance culture, things will not last long for you. So also our farm tools, we have to maintain them so that they can last long for us. Now, how can we take care of our farm tools? Number one, we should do what? Clean the farm tools by washing them with water after use. As you come back from your farm, you don't just pack them one side. You take them outside with water, with soap. You do what? You wash them. You wash off the sand. You wash off the dust. You wash off the dirt on them. Then after washing them with water, you dry them after washing to avoid rusting. You don't just wash and keep. You do what? You dry them. You take them outside under the sun so that the sun can dry them. Why do you dry them? In order to prevent rusting. Another way of maintaining farm tools is store in a cool, dry place. You don't just abandon them under the sun. After the sun must have dried them up, you take them in a cool, dry place. A place that is cool, a place that is dry. Then, number 4, hang them in a dry place. Why do we hang them? You don't just pack your farm tools on the floor. You hang them. You can fix something like nails and you hang them. Hang your rope, hang your cutlass, hang your rake. Why do you hang them? So that the wooden parts will not be attacked by termites. You know that all our farm tools have wooden parts. Look at this rope. You can see the wooden parts. Look at this cutlass. This is the wooden part. So if you don't hang it, if you just keep them on the floor, termites can eat up the wooden parts. But when you hang them, termites can't come up there to the bottom. Then, as you are taking care of the wooden part, you are also taking care of the metallic part. So how do you take care of the metal part? You rub oil or grease on the metal part to avoid rusting. Now, look at the metal part of the about. Look at this code. Look at the metal part. This is the cutlass. Look at the metal part and look at the wooden part. Our rake, this is the metal part. How do you take care of it? You get an engine oil and you rub oil on the metallic part so that they will not rust. Then you also sharpen the blunt edges. Look at the edges we're talking about. Sometimes you can use them and use them as you're using them over and over, there's a tendency that it will get blunt. Even the kitchen knife, the knife is in the kitchen, at times it gets blunt. So when you notice that it has gotten blunt, you sharpen it. Sharpen it so that it can serve you effectively. Now also straighten bent edges. Now as you are using it, you notice that some of the edges will be bending. You do what? You straighten it, you make it straight by using, how can you do it? By hitting it with a hammer. If this edge is bent, you can get a hammer and hit it, or a stone, or any other object. Now we have looked at ways we can take care of our farm tools. We said you can take care of our farm tools, you clean them, wash them, you dry them, you store them in a cool place, hang them in a dry place, rub oil or grease on the metal, sharpen blunt edges, straighten the bent edges. So these are ways you can take care of our farm tools, and when you do so, your farm tools will last long for you. So you will copy the notes and then you answer the questions. These 5 ways, I gave you several ways. These 5 ways we can maintain and care for our farm tools. So we are back to our online tutorial, and this is social studies, and our topic this morning is drug, meaning and reasons why people abuse drugs. We are looking at what? Drug. Meaning, that is the meaning of drug, and reasons why people abuse drugs. So, you will recall in your grade 3 that we defined drugs as substances that are taken into the body to cure illnesses. That was in our grade 3. When you are sick, you have headache, you run to your mommy, "Mommy, I have headache." What will she do? She go to her first aid box, get a paracetamol or a Panadol and give you, and then you swallow. In the next 10 minutes, go back to her and say, "Mom, the headache is no longer there." So that thing you took, that's Panadol, that's paracetamol you took for the headache to disappear, it's called what? Drug. Or you have stomach upset, you run to your mom and you just say, "Mom, my stomach, I can't lie down. It's as if something is turning in my stomach." What will she do? She said, "Okay." Go back to her first aid box, get Gelosil, give you, and ask you to do what? To chew. And after chewing it, come back to her and the next time you say, "Mom, the stomach ache is no longer there. I am healed." So that Gelosil you chew is called a drug. So we can now define drug as chemical substances used in the prevention, in the diagnosis, treatment, and cure of diseases. That is to say that drugs are not just for curing diseases. There are drugs that we take in order to prevent diseases. For instance, we call them what? Vaccines. You can take drugs so that you will not get polio. Small children, babies that are born, they give them vaccines so that they will not get chicken pox, not get polio, and also for smallpox. So those drugs given to those babies when they are born, in order to prevent, not just babies, even adults takes what? Vaccines against meningitis, against so many diseases. So when you take medicine in order to prevent diseases from coming into your body, that is called what? A drug. So drug can also be used in diagnosis. You want to know what is wrong with you, you can take some drugs in order to know whether you have this ailment or that ailment. Drugs can also be used in treatment if you are sick. Maybe you are sick of diabetes, or you are sick of HIV, you can take medicine, you can take drugs. Another word for drug is what? Medicine. So all these drugs that you take that prevent, that diagnose, that treat and cure diseases, they are called what? Drugs. So drugs can also be taken to enhance physical or mental well-being. Someone that has mental disorder, that has a that is a psychiatric patient, can take drugs so that the mental well-being can be well. So we can also take drug for our physical well-being. For instance, you can see someone that is slim before may want to get fat. There are some drugs that the person can take and the person will get what? Fat. Or someone that is fat, I don't like being fat, I want to slim down. There are some drugs that the person can take and the person will do what? Will slim, become a slim person. So drugs are used for various reasons. Drugs are used for various reasons: to prevent diseases, to diagnose diseases, to cure diseases, and to enhance physical or mental well-being. So you can see a drug is a very good thing. Drug is a very good thing. When you are sick, you go to the hospital and doctor does what? After examining you, doctor will prescribe some medicine, some drugs, and ask you to go to the pharmacy and get this medicine. When you take them, you will get well. You are making good use of drugs. But there are some people that takes drug wrongly. So that leads us to the next topic: reasons why people abuse drugs. Reasons why people abuse drugs. First of all, let us look at what is known as what? Abuse, drug abuse. So when drugs are wrongly taken by a person, they are said to have been abused. Drug is a good thing. If doctor examines you and find that you have one ailment or the other, and he prescribes drug and said, take this medicine 2 in the morning, 2 in the night, 2 in the morning, 2 in the night, and then you come back home, you say to yourself, this doctor does not know what he or she is saying. I will take it 3 in the morning, 3 in the night, so that these diseases can do what? Can disappear quickly. You are abusing drugs. The doctor said 2 in the morning, 2 at night. You tell yourself, I will take 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, and 3 at night, so that the disease can disappear in 2 days. You are no longer making good use of drugs. We can say that you are abusing drugs. So when you take drugs wrongly, you are said to be doing what? Drug abuse. And when you abuse drugs, it becomes harmful to your body. The drug that you're supposed to take 2 that will cure your ailment, but because you are taking it wrongly, instead of the drug healing you, instead of the drug curing your disease, you will find out that it is going to be more harmful. What is your worst state? Your state then after taking those medicine will be worse than what it was before you took those drugs. So drug abuse is a very harmful thing. Now we want to look at why reasons. Why do, even though drug abuse is bad, why is it that some people are still abusing drugs? Why are people abusing drugs? So that's what we are going to look at. So we have several factors, we have several reasons that can make someone to engage in drug abuse. Let us look at them one after the other. Number 1 is ignorance or illiteracy. Ignorance or what? Illiteracy. Illiteracy is someone that did not go to school. Someone that did not go to school is called an illiterate. So when someone is an illiterate, someone that did not go to school, it can affect the person's use of drugs. Maybe the person has headache, went to the pharmacy, bought some drugs, because he or she cannot read. Some drugs, they write the dosage. They can write 1 in the morning, 1 in the night, because the person did not go to school. He can't read or write. He can't read 1 in the morning, 1 in the night, because he or she is illiterate. He or she might take 2 in the morning, 2 at night, you will get, "Hey, this drug is like I will take 2 in the morning and 2 in the night." You can see how the person's illiteracy have led to his abuse of drugs, because he cannot read. When you cannot read, you cannot write. You cannot read what is written on the packet of the drug, and then you misuse it. So this is one of the reasons why people abuse drugs. Ignorance, or what? Illiteracy. So another reason why people abuse drugs is what? Curiosity. Another reason is what? Curiosity. Now, what is curiosity? Curiosity is the desire to want to learn or know about something. When you are curious, when you are experiencing as someone that is always curious, things that you always want to know about things that is happening in that yard, you would like to know. Things that are happening in America, you want to know. Things that happen when you left the house, you want to know. So some people are naturally curious. They want to know everything. They ask lots of questions. Curious people ask lots of questions. So someone that is so curious, always have the desire to want to know about something, might want to know, I want to take this drug and see how I can feel, how this drug reacts in the body. We all know that cocaine is a drug, but it is a banned drug. No country wants cocaine inside the country. It's a drug. Someone that is curious may want to know, why is it that all the countries are banning this cocaine? Why is it that people are saying cocaine is so good? I would like to take it so that I will know how it feels in the body. So because the person is curious, he would like to experiment to know how this drug feels in the body. Or tramadol. You know that government have said that they don't want tramadol in Nigeria. Someone might say, tramadol. I would like to take this tramadol and see how I can feel, how it can feel in how it can react in my body. Curiosity. This is one of the reasons why people abuse drugs. Another reason why people abuse drugs is another one is what? Environmental factors. Environmental factor. Of course, some people live in communities where there are no basic amenities and where there is high level of unemployment. There are some places you go to. For instance, there are some places in Obiago, in Ababa. When you go there, that place is densely populated. So many people living clustering together. No space, no good hygiene, no water, no electricity, no employment. In the morning, everyone stays at home. They quarrel, they fight. In those type of place, there is a high level of unemployment. And in such communities, drug supply are always very common. When you go to such a place, like that Obiago I'm telling you about, that's Apapa, that is in the interior part of Obiago. When you go there, you begin to ask yourself, how those people that live here, how do they survive? No electricity, no water, no good toilet facilities. There is unemployment. Young boys, young tattered boys and girls, they stay at home. They don't go to school. They don't go to work. Of course, when you go to such area, you will find out that drugs are always being circulated there. There are always supply of drugs. Igbo, cocaine, marijuana, they are always supplied there. When young boys and girls don't have anything doing, what will happen? They will resort to drugs. So this makes them to have easy access to hard drugs. Environmental factor. That means the kind of environment where you live, can cause you to do what? To abuse drugs. Another factor is peer influence. Peer influence. There are those who cannot refuse to do what their friends or age mates are doing. There are so many people, their mentor, they say, this is my best friend. Whatever he do, I must do. Whatever he asks me to do, I must do it. He is my best friend, my pally. Whatever he does, whether it's good or bad, I must do it. And now, when you can't refuse to do what your friend or age mate are doing, that means if your friend is taking cocaine or your friend is taking Igbo, because he's your friend, you always want to do what he does. What will happen? You will be led astray. You will be taking drug because your friend is abusing drug. You too will abuse drug. That means if your friend say or your age mate say we want to contribute money and buy igbo, say since it is my friend is always right. If I don't do it, they will be calling me Jew guy, they will be calling me mommy's boy, and I don't want such ridicule. I don't want them to be ridiculing me. What will happen? You can't take it. Because when your friends are bad and you know that they are bad and you refuse to come out from them, you very soon you start doing what they are doing. So peer pressure, peer influence, you want to be as your friend. So your friends that are taking drugs, you'll be following them, joining them, taking drugs. So this is one of the reasons. Another reason is people take drugs to help relieve stress. When people have problems, accommodation problems, school fees, money to feed, you need money to do so many things, and there is no money, there is no job, because in fact you feel as if you are dying. What will happen? You go and take drug with the hope that as I take this drug, all my problems will be forgotten. But will you forget your problem? Even as you are taking it and you feel that you are forgetting your problem, by the time you sleep and wake up the next day, the effect of the drug will disappear and your problems are still there. You have accommodation problem and you took Igbo so that so that the stress about thinking about that accommodation will disappear. You feel that your problems are over. By the time you sleep the next day and wake up, your problem is still there. So taking drugs does not relieve stress. So these are the reasons why people take drugs. So we have looked at the meaning of drugs. We have defined drugs as chemical substances used in preventing, in diagnosing, in treating, and in curing of diseases. And we looked at some of the reasons why people abuse drugs. Why do people abuse drugs? Ignorance or illiteracy, curiosity, environmental factors, peer influence, and people taking drugs to help relieve stress with the hope that when they drink or when they smoke, the problems will be forgotten. So you copy the note and then do the performance assessment. Number 1, define drugs. Give 3 reasons. I gave you 5. Give me 3 reasons why people abuse drugs. So this is our creative and cultural arts, CCA, and our topic is dances of the locality. Dances of the locality. We all dance, don't we? We all dance. When we are happy, we dance. When we go to church, we dance. When we go to birthday party, we dance. As you're walking along the road and you hear the sound of a music, you just shake your body even without knowing it. So we all dance. So you ask yourself, what is dance? Dance is a series of various body movements and steps to match the speed and rhythm of the music. Body movement. When you are dancing, it involves what? Body. Of course, you cannot dance without moving your body. You move your body, not just your body, your step. You move your step, you move your legs from one place to the other. Why? To match the speed and rhythm of the music you are listening to. Now we look at dances for various occasions. What are the occasions that we can attend and then there is dance? We have various occasions that we go to where we do what? We dance. We have various occasions. So in various localities across the country, there are dances. Different localities have different type of dances. Now we are Igbos. When we have festivals, burial ceremonies, maybe New Yam festivals, there are dance. We dance there. But in burial ceremonies, in New Yam festivals, in weddings, naming ceremonies, chieftaincy taking titles, when you go to all these festivals, all these occasions, there are dancers. So in festivals, when we talk about festivals, in festivals, group of traditional dancers are in attendance. In Igbo land, the Atilogu, Mbokete are all in attendance when we are, for instance, when doing New Year festival. There are Atilogu dancers, Mbokete dancers. They all come to perform in the ceremony. They are this Mbokiti and Antelope dance we're talking about. They are acrobatic in nature. Someone can climb on top of another person and they'll be shaking their body, shaking their hands. So they are danced by young and strong men and women. If you are not strong enough, you cannot be able to perform in this Antelope dance because they shake their body, they shake their body very well. Another occasion where we dance is the wedding, especially in traditional wedding. In traditional wedding, the women and children are at the forefront. Whenever you go to any traditional wedding, you will see that it is the women and the children that are always dancing. They are in the forefront of this ceremony. They sing as they beat the musical instrument. They may go with their gong, with their calabashes. As they beat it, they also dance. They also have their music pot. They dance to the tune of the music with ordered step and body movement, swinging and shaking their waist in traditional weddings. When you go to traditional wedding, observe the women and the children and you see how they dance. Another occasion where dance take place is during naming ceremonies. During naming ceremonies, the man and the woman they have a newborn baby and they want to name the child. They will call dancers, they will call musicians, and as the musicians, as they are playing their musical instruments, people will come out and be dancing in happiness and in celebrations. Also in New Yam festivals and chieftaincy taking titles. In all these ceremonies, there are dances that are associated with them. So we have looked at dance, we have defined dance as a series of various body movements and steps to match the speed and rhythm of the music. And we also looked at different occasions and festivals where dance take place. And we said the dance take place in burial ceremonies, in weddings, in during naming ceremonies, during New Year festivals and chieftaincy taking titles and so many other occasions. When you go to those occasions, when you go to those festivals, you see dances taking place. So you will copy the note and then you will answer the questions, define dance, and then list 5 different occasions and festivals where we dance.